Cubs ran out of gas against one of the league's best teams, the San Diego Padres, but all in all, Cody, Cubs will take it. A 3-3 West Coast road trip. They're heading home to Wrigley Field. A player emerged in this series. We're going to talk about one of the Cubs' young stars, but the bullpen continues to be here an issue. We'll have more coming up on the CHGO Cubs podcast. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs podcast, driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign-up. Kevin Wells and Cody Del Mendo talking Cubs baseball here after a 4-2 loss in San Diego to the Padres, ending a West Coast road trip at 500 for the Cubs. They take 2 out of 3 from LA and lose 2 out of 3 in San Diego. All in all, Cody, like I said in the cold open, Cubs will take this road trip. These are the two best teams in baseball for my money. Padres, a very formidable opponent, a very good home opponent. You held your own. It just felt like they ran out of gas here at the end, and I know a lot of people here in the comments are saying, oh, bad taste in my mouth, bad game, and I totally get it. It's never fun when the Cubs lose, but this was a competitive loss. It's one that I'm not feeling too bad about. And truth be told, I mean, you ran into a really good pitcher, a pitcher the Cubs were looking at this offseason. We knew they were in the, going to try to sign another starter, and Nick Pivetta and Matthew Boyd, two guys who were signed by their respectable teams this offseason, went at it, and both had really good days today. Just not enough. Not enough guys on base, too many walks. It's going to happen. It's going to happen against good teams, and when you run into a bullpen as good as the Padres, it's when you're down runs, it doesn't matter if it's 1 run or 3, it's hard to beat teams like that.
Yeah, I mean, to start, yeah, you take a 3-3 road trip anytime you have to face the Dodgers and the Padres, and I did joke last Thursday after they had finished the series against the Rangers, and me and Luke were talking about, what's the best case scenario in this road trip. I joked that, it would be very Cubs if they went to LA, won the series in surprising fashion, and then would come back down to earth against the Padres. And that's basically what happened. Feel good that you didn't get swept. You easily could have got swept based off what happened last night. But, you're able to get 1 out of the 2. You're not going to win every single series. It is what it is. There's certainly, that doesn't take away the fact that there's still issues with this team, as there is with every team in baseball right now. And the fact that, you're still 12-9 and you're in a good spot. And I think if you go a month ago and we were to tell you that they'd be 12-9 at this point in April, you would be surprised and you would be probably pretty happy about it. Context matters, but yeah, this one doesn't suck like the one on Monday did. So this one sucks because there were things about this game that kind of reminded me from last year, whether it's, someone in the chat said something about how, only scoring 1 run with the bases loaded. What was it, the second inning? Seiya Suzuki at the plate with runners on base.
Third inning, yeah.
Or the third inning. Mm-hmm. Seiya Suzuki up with runners on base, hits into a double play to end it right after Kyle Tucker just had hit a sac fly. And it felt like the Cubs were in position to, tack on at least a crooked number instead of only getting 1 run. The Padres answer back immediately and get 2 off Boyd. So, I think every facet of the game, offense, defense, pitching, it wasn't all good today. There were some bright moments for some of it. There were some, and obviously there were some down moments because you lost. So, I don't feel like they gave this game away. They just didn't play sharp baseball today as a team.
Yeah, they just ran out of gas. It felt like it felt like they really grinded against this Padres team. They grinded today. Just too many strikeouts. Dansby Swanson had a rough series. He struck out 8 times. there weren't a lot of guys on base to be left on base in this game. So yesterday, honestly, you grinded an extra inning win out. You left 14 guys on base or 13 guys on base yesterday, and then this one's kind of a little bit of a different story. So what does this kind of mean for the Cubs? They're done with the Padres now. You played 6 games. You split all 3. So I want to explain to people what this means. So the Padres are most certainly going to be a playoff team this year. They are a great roster, 1 through 26, probably the second best roster in all of baseball behind the Dodgers for my money. They're going to be in the playoffs. Will they win the division? Maybe. If the Dodgers don't win the division, it'll certainly be the Padres, one of those 2 teams. So seeding in the playoffs is determined by head-to-head record between teams. So because the Cubs and the Padres split, now it moves to the team that has the better record in the division. So why do I always say these games matter so much? It's because National League teams, and especially with how stacked the National League is, those games just mean a little bit more when you're playing teams versus the AL. And with the schedule changes and stuff, it does make these games mean more. So the fact that the Cubs are now done with the Padres is a good thing because this team is really good. This Padres team is really good. Now you need to make your division games count because you have effectively split with a team that is going to be competing with you, the Brewers, whoever might end up in the National League wildcard picture.
Yeah, you brought that point up when they lost that Sunday game against the Diamondbacks, who they're going to play this weekend. They split with the Diamondbacks, so they're 2-2 against the Diamondbacks. We'll see what happens this weekend. Obviously, you want to go home and bounce back and maybe win that series, and then you come away with a winning record against them, which would be huge for playoff picture, seeding, stuff like that down the road. So to be finished with the Padres and be 3-3, considering how the Padres have started the season, I get why you're saying, they're a playoff team, this and that. The NL West is off to an insane start in general. Like, the Giants are way better than what I think a lot of people expected. I did pick them as a playoff team, but it was more about me thinking the Padres were going to trend down, and both teams are off to good starts. And even the Diamondbacks, like, I think going into the season, a lot of people felt really good about them, and they've been interesting. They've been good, but they haven't been as good as the Padres or the Giants. So on top of the Dodgers being the Dodgers, I guess my point that I'm getting at here, to be 12-9 and you've played the Dodgers, you played the Diamondbacks, and you played the Padres at this point, and be 12-9, I just think that you take that. But you are correct. You have to capitalize on winning games against your division, and that was the problem last year. They played well against teams that weren't in their division last year. It was against their division that they weren't good. If you go look back, when they slumped in May, they played a ton of teams in their division that month.
Right.
They finished last April like 18-9 or something like that. And then they slumped in May. So, while this is huge, you are correct in terms of they got to capitalize on division teams when that comes around. But, big picture, splitting with the Padres here is big. And, there's some games they gave away, no doubt, but this Padres team, they were just in NLCS last year.
They're so good, man.
They're
such a good team.
They don't. Well, what doesn't make sense to me is like, and maybe this is what people think about the Cubs too. Like, Gavin Sheets has been a nice addition for them. I don't think anyone in this city thought that Gavin Sheets would come to San Diego and hit in the 4-hole. You know what I mean? And then, like, Iglesias was just picked up off the street, like, right before the season. He's had some big moments for them in this series. And then, Tyler Wade hitting the 9-hole, like, he's making an impact. It's because the Cubs can't stop walking the 9-hitter. They've had some guys overperform, but the Cubs have too. Carson Kelly, I know he didn't do anything today, but he's been a big impact on this team early, right? Nico Horner looks healthy. He's batting like well over 300. He's normally like a 280, 290 guy, right? And then PCA had a great road trip, right? And
I want to talk about PCA, man.
And PCA,
we will too.
And PCA is like, his offense really kind of can dictate the win total for this Cubs team based off, if he hits like he did this road trip on a consistent basis, that's such a game changer. And he's going to find himself up higher in the lineup. You know what I mean? So it's the good teams in baseball. We say this all the time, like the good teams, the best teams, their core guys show up and perform, but they also have guys that kind of surprise and kind of exceed projections. So, and I know that's triggering to some.
Well,
but like Gavin Sheets.
Well, he's making the most of his opportunity right now with Cronenworth on the IL. And you're right. I mean, the Cubs kind of reined him in for the most part this series. But yeah, he's batting over 300. He's in the 4-hole. It is certainly surprising. A guy with a little pop in his bat. The Padres, when it counts, this is kind of a cool thing. If you go and kind of just look up how great their bullpen is. Again, if it's not the best bullpen in baseball, it's the second best bullpen in baseball. But MLB defines a close game as a game in the 7th inning or later when your team is trailing by 3 or fewer. It's a tie game or you're ahead by 1 run. In those games, the Padres' batting average against their pitching staff is 104. Their whip is .77. I mean, when it counts, when these games are close, their bullpen is nails. They generate a ton of swing and miss. They have 4 guys in that pen that come in and they don't sweat. Those fans don't sit in the stands and sweat. The Cubs, on the other hand, they're still trying to figure it out, right? Luke Little makes his debut today and walks 4 guys. Granted, yes, I saw a lot of the comments about the strike zone, and yeah, we were talking about it. There were certainly some huge missed calls there that squeezed Luke Little, and a guy making his season debut against a lineup as deadly as the Padres. That's going to be in your head, no doubt about it. I almost hold this one, and I'm not going to make every show nitpicky about Craig Counsell because I think he's done a really good job with the bullpen thus far this year, but I don't think any relief pitcher should have the opportunity to walk a 4th guy in an inning, especially in a 1-run game, and especially a guy who's approaching 30 pitches and it's his first outing of the year. I would have liked to have seen him go to Ethan Roberts to face Tatis there. Didn't end up mattering. Cubs still lost by 2. Just something to look at down the road, maybe a 1-run game with, Suarez coming into the game. That's a mind game. You think that, hey, maybe we can score 1 run, guys, but scratching across 2 almost feels insurmountable against a guy of that caliber. Again, it's a mind game. Baseball's a mind game in certain ways that the decision by Counsell there doesn't come into play because they lose by 2, but I see a lot of comments saying Luke Little has control issues. Yeah, I mean, he's still getting there. He's still – the Cubs are trying to get guys with control to the major leagues. That's why you saw Palencia pitch today so much. That's why you saw Luke Little pitch in this game, because 2 of their relievers that they went out and got, one they got midseason last year, Nate Pearson, the guy they got this offseason, Eli Morgan, just have not been doing the job. And Eli Morgan is hurt now. So you work with what you have, and Nate Pearson has been really bad. I mean, the control is gone. So Luke Little has to come into this situation and perform, and he walks 4 guys and doesn't get some calls from the umpire. That's going to happen. It's unfortunate. They're going to give him some run, though. I don't think he's not out of options yet, but he's certainly a guy that's on the end of the roster for when a guy like Javier Assad and Jordan Wicks gets ready to roll here. That will be a guy they look at probably to option.
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of heat on social media right now because everyone knows I'm a big Luke Little supporter. And it's not just because I've met his dad and I think he's a nice guy. But listen, last year before Luke Little got hurt, Luke Little from May 1st till the last time that he pitched, he had a 1.59 earned run average with a 3.11 FIP and a 10.59 Ks per 9. That's over 2 months of pitching. All right. That's over 2 months. Now, 17 total innings. Again, a reliever. So how many games is that? I'm looking at Fangraphs. But anyway, he had 20 strikeouts, 11 walks over that time span. So yeah, command has always been a problem with him. He was a rookie last year, so it's something that you had to work through. It's one appearance, and I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying anyone who thinks that he sucks, it's like, did you not watch last year? That's my point. It's the first appearance of the year. You brought him in the 8th inning, down 1 run in his season debut, and he didn't answer the call.
Right.
He just simply did not answer the call, and the umpires didn't help him either. And I'm not using the umpire needing an ABS challenge system as an excuse either. But 2 things are true, Kevin. You got to throw strikes, and then also when the umpire screws you, sometimes that dictates how an at-bat will go.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? And that's my point. That's my point about the entire thing. So, yeah, Luke's got to he's got to find a way to command, and so I'm looking forward to his next appearance. And at the same time, like, he just can't walk that many people, man. And the only reason I'm being a little light on him is because they were down this game anyway, and he was going to pitch today based off the guys they used last night. He was absolutely going to pitch, so I didn't hate that they brought him in. It is what it is. He did not impress today. And the umpire didn't help him. He's got to throw this one into Lake Michigan, and then he's got to find a way to throw more strikes, which he did show to do last year. And when he came up last year, he had the same problem in April with the inability to throw strikes consistently. So they don't necessarily have the time to be able to give him so many opportunities. And if it happens again, then it's like, okay, then it might be smart to send him back to Iowa and get and reset, right?
Bring up Tyson Miller.
And that was something that I guess you could have done last year, considering you didn't have the depth. They have the depth this year. So again, like, it's one of those things that I don't think the leash is as long as last year when it comes to him working through trying to find that command. But if he can find it, he can give you an ERA under 2 in 17 innings or whatever it is for 2 months that he did last year. He can be effective. He can get swing and miss, and he does throw hard for a lefty, which is something the Cubs haven't had in a long time. That's why I'm bullish on him. That's the only reason I've ever really been bullish on him. So, wasn't great today. I'm just hoping that it's better next time.
Yeah, I'm not sweating Luke Little, man. I'm not. Not yet.
All right. Shall we got a break here, Sarah? Okay. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose, sign up, use code CHGO365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. All right. We just, we got MLB tonight. You have Bulls Heat play-in, and
go Bulls.
on Bet365 they have the early payout offer for both baseball and the NBA. So when you use the early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up 20 points. If you bet the Bulls, and perhaps maybe they like to get off to slow starts. Maybe the Heat get up 20. You know what I mean? And if you bet the Heat, then you win your bet. Maybe the Bulls get up 20. You win your bet.
And you fade the Bulls.
And then you fade them. You know what I mean? Baseball, again, if you go up 5, if your team goes up 5 runs, your bet automatically wins as well. So, again, download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. All right? When you do that, deposit $10 and place a $5 bet to get those bonus bets. And if your bet wins or loses, you get those bets no matter what. You can do it on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be assessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Summer's going to be here before we know it, Cody. It's going to be pushing 80 on Friday.
Oh,
I know we'll be in the bleachers for that. But when I get home after sitting in the sun for 3 hours, I'm going to need my air conditioning to be on. Is your home's air conditioning up for the challenge is the question. Four Seasons Heating Air Conditioning has been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years, and now's the time to get your air checked out. And Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. 2024, I should say, was officially Chicago's hottest year on record. The heat index reached 114 last summer at O'Hare. Yeah, that day was brutal. Our air conditioner didn't work for a little bit there. We had to get it recharged with the Freon. We got to do that like every year, and these guys are out in the matter of like 30 minutes when we call. It's pretty nice. Just because you have to sweat the game or the draft pick doesn't mean you need to sweat in your house. That's what Four Seasons is there for. The expert technicians ensure you always receive the reliable service you need. Four Seasons doesn't charge more for service during nights, weekends, or holidays. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating and Cooling. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Looking at a lot of the chat. Thanks for joining us here after the Cubs lose 4-2 to the Padres. Yes, Luke is okay. He's scheduled day off for him. He'll be back with you guys on Monday. Yeah, so
Monday.
Long weekend for
it's me,
Luke.
Corey and Brennan tomorrow, or
Corey and me tomorrow.
Corey and you tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
Brendan's off tomorrow.
And then me and you on Sunday.
Yep.
So
a lot of meat coming up. I'm excited to be here. And,
get ready to learn Kevin Wells.
Yeah, and come out and say hi to us in the bleachers on Friday. I will be out there. I know, Cody, you're out there every home game Friday. So, yeah, we'll be sitting out there. It'll be a good game. I don't know who's pitching. I'd have to check and see, but it'll be a tough matchup for the Cubs.
Maybe Tyone, maybe.
Another West Coast team coming up, but more on this one.
Ben Brown. I feel like Ben Brown's going to pitch Friday.
I feel like it's Ben Brown. Yeah.
He pitched last Saturday, so he's due for a start. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. This is I just want the chat and everybody here to just take a deep breath. It's April, and the Cubs are 3 games over 500, and they just played a really, really good baseball team. And it sucks to lose games. But, like, I don't think people realize how damn talented. Maybe we do. Maybe I'm not giving you guys enough credit. But the Padres, 1 through 26, are a dominant force of a team. Their 1 through 4 in that lineup is elite. I mean, home run hitter, sluggers, contact guys. I mean, their pitching staff. Nick Pivetta was great today. Him and Matthew Boyd came into this game with the same ERA, 1.57. Pivetta signed a 4-year deal with the Padres. He was a guy I really wanted the Cubs to sign this offseason. I was happy with the Boyd signing, too. I wanted them both, if I'm being honest. Pivetta gets a 4-year. Boyd gets a 2-year. But the money is about the same. I think Pavetta's making like a touch more. He's got a weird contract this year. He's making $1 million this year and then like almost $20 million next year to make the salary cap work for the Padres because they have 1 million guys making 9-figure deals. But he was really good today, and I don't think that's what you're going to hear from Craig Counsell. Sometimes you run into hot pitching. Pavetta's curveball was working really well today, had the velocity going.
Well, he wasn't good his last outing against the Cubs. He wasn't good when they faced off on that Saturday game. The Cubs won that game 7-1. He only went 3 innings.
Yeah,
Swanson hit a bomb off him. I think Carson Kelly hit a home run off him as well. So he had that mentality of like he's seen this lineup now, and now he knows what to do. And I agree with you in a sense that he's a solid pitcher. I personally was not on the like we need to go get Nick Pivetta train. And I think the only reason the Cubs probably didn't was because they didn't want to give away the comp pick.
I think the 4-year deal too. I mean, if you get a 4-year deal, the Cubs like those 2-year deals. I know they signed Tyone, got him, but Tyone's younger than Pivetta, so that's kind of their wheelhouse. The Cubs like to deal with some of the veteran guys in those 1 to 2 year deals. But Matthew Boyd did his job today, though. He has been solid. I don't think for him facing now the Diamondbacks, Dodgers, and the Padres, Padres twice, 4 playoff caliber teams Boyd has faced, 17 strikeouts with a 1.59 ERA against those 4 teams. He's gone 5 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, and 5 1/3 today. And honestly, probably goes 6 if he gets a little bit of help of Nico. Bobbled that one at second base. Kind of some rough defense in there that allowed more base runners to reach, push that pitch count up in the 5th inning. But other than that, if you're looking at good defense there, you're looking at 3 straight games in which he goes 6 innings. I mean, really impressive stuff from Matthew Boyd today again. And I'm impressed, man. If he can raise the floor of the Cubs' depth at the end of that rotation, that's going to be big. It's going to be really big.
I think he went 5 1/3 today, you said? Mm-hmm. That's a gutsy performance considering the luck didn't go his way. 4 of the 6 hits he gave up were infield hits. And I think there's some in there. You can make an argument that
might have been errors.
Sure, and MLB is just like we need people to know there's offense going on in this game, right? I don't know. You can make an argument all you want. I saw a good friend of the show, Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs, tweet that one that Bush was unable to field that he ended up throwing over to third base was hit like 79 miles per hour. Feels like a ball that a guy of Bush's caliber should field, and if he gets that ball and you get the out at first base, probably doesn't have to throw nearly as many pitches as he did. So my point is because of some of those plays, Boyd was forced to throw more pitches than he probably needed to. He didn't help himself either with 3 walks. It was crazy that the 2 runs he gave up after the Cubs got the early lead, I was surprised by, because I felt like he was rolling in the first 2 innings of that game. And so, but yeah, he just battles, and he so far this season, he's kept you in the game, and he looks like a really solid signing. And to me, like I'm just going to keep saying this when we talk about him, like I was never concerned about performance with Matt Boyd. It was all about, can this guy give us 100 to 120 innings?
Stay healthy. Yeah.
I am very interested to see how they try to preserve him as the season goes along, because it's not like he's thrown a ton of innings over the last handful of years. You know, he came back and played from August to the end of year, going to the postseason for the Guardians last year, right? Like, I am interested to see, like, if they, you know, have him skip a start as time goes on, you know, like, just to preserve, because 120 innings is probably the max they want him to pitch this year. And we'll see how the season progresses and stuff, but the guy's pitching so well that it's like, how can you take him out of games sometimes? Maybe not this game in particular, but he's had other games where it's like, man, like, you'd like to see him go a little bit longer sometimes. But I'm enjoying the ride with Matt Boyd right now. That's the point.
He's just competing. I mean, he's throwing a lot of strikes. The 3 walks today, whatever. I mean, I'm not concerned about 3 walks against a really good team.
Every starter is going to walk a few guys.
Right.
But my point of when I said that is that he walked 3 guys, and then those infield hits don't help him, which adds to the pitch count.
Yeah.
But the good news of all of that is that he still battled, and he kept you in the game. He got out of some big jams. And so, it's just one of those things where, you know, sometimes things don't go your way, but facing adversity and answering it with something positive, you know, it doesn't always work out that way for a lot of guys. So, you know, it's more of a testament to him that he just battled today.
David Snyder had a good comment in the chat up above, Sarah, and he was saying, yeah, there it is. Cubs trademark last year was leaving too many close game wins on the board. Got to win 75% or close to it, and in 2-run games will now repeat their horrible hitting in May also. He also had one, scroll up a little bit, he had one more before that. Same old story. When they score 4 or more runs, they win. When they don't, they lose 90% of the time. I don't know if that number is factual, but I'm sure that it's in the ballpark of that, right? That was the Cubs' magic number last year, getting to 4 runs. This one, it just, long West Coast road trip, you faced a lot of good pitchers. You grinded. I think Ian Happ had a good day today, but the one guy I want to talk really about who seems to be figuring it out, and you can hit me with the reality spray here if you want, but Pete Crow-Armstrong, man, he looks like he's figuring it out, and I know that the strikeouts are still there. They're going to keep happening. That's the type of young hitter he is. He's going to have to grind through that, but the hard contact is there, and the contact in general is there. He's fouling a lot of good pitches off, which tells me he's close, and then sure enough, gets his second career home run off a left-handed pitcher late in that game. Didn't hit it unbelievably hard, but turned on a pitch in on the hands, up and in, and hit it over the wall. Yeah. The power in his 3rd home run of this trip, I mean, that is something we can get excited about because, as you said, we know the guys who can hit in this lineup. We know the Cubs lineup is better than last year. But if he can add offensive firepower to a lineup in which he's the 6th or 7th best hitter in that lineup, but he can put the ball over the wall and get extra base hits like he did in this series. He got a lot of them, a couple doubles, a triple, a couple home runs. That is a massive upgrade offensively for this lineup. I mean, that's the difference between 90 wins and 85 wins, 84 wins. And again, they lost today. I'm just really impressed with Pete. The strikeouts stink. They're going to happen. It's harder to hit in baseball now more than ever. I like where he's at in the lineup. I like where Counsell has him slotted in. He doesn't have to. He's not putting him in super high leverage spots. He's keeping him down there. Very impressed. And again, hit me with the reality spray if you want, Chad, if you think that I'm wrong in that regard. But these last couple games against good pitching, Pete Crow-Armstrong starting to figure it out, and it seems like the cobwebs and the wheels are starting to turn for him a little bit.
Yeah. I have my 2 cents on PCA here in a second, but first, let me tell you about our event that we got coming up May 3rd.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I know they lost today, guys. I know they lost today, but we are going to Milwaukee, and you could be too, all right? Because we got this great event coming up. Kick off your summer right with the CHGO Cubs crew. Me, Luke, Corey, maybe Kevin are taking the party north for the border battle with the Milwaukee Brewers. It's going down Friday, May 3rd. I thought it was a Saturday. Maybe it's a Friday at Potawatomi Casino and Hotel in Milwaukee. So what's included is it's an exclusive pregame party in a private room at the casino. We'll have a live show. You get to hang out with us, talk baseball. You know, we can cheer some beer bats or something. I don't know. Talk ball. You can ask Luke about all the weird things that he does, all the weird things that I do, whatever. It includes a buffet lunch and the drink and drink tickets as well. And then you get, if you're 21 or older, you get $100 in casino play at the casino on top of that. That's just for $50. So all you got to do is get there, right? $50 for that. Then it's another $75 if you get the game ticket to hang out with us in the 200 section at Wrigley North. And then I think if you want to stay the night at the casino and hotel, it's like $275 total. So it's a really good deal. Again, we're going to do the show and hang out and come hang out with us at the game or whatever. And it's going to be a really fun night. I'm really excited. And, we went to Milwaukee last year. Everyone knows the good of that day and then the bad. Shout out to Greg Braggs. But other than that, though, we had a great time. The tailgate and everything was awesome. The Cubs won that day. So I'm hoping that we repeat last year outside of the fact that we are going to stay as far away possible from escalators. All right.
Say something nice about the Brewers Challenge. I love watching games at their stadium. It's so much fun. I went to college in Marquette. I went to college in Milwaukee, spent 4 great years there, had a lot of late nights at that casino. It's a great casino. It's fun. I'm not a degenerate gambler. Don't worry, Becky. They opened a sports book there. I had some fun. It was college.
I'm the degenerate.
It's long over. But great place to watch a game. That casino is awesome. It's right near the stadium. You can literally walk to the casino and walk to Wrigley North from there.
Oh,
the tailgating, it's awesome. It's a great experience. This is a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
You're paying to let the casino give you money to gamble there. And if you gamble right and you put money on Kyle Tucker to win MVP, like I've been saying, that's going to pay dividends for you down the line. The odds are great right now for Tucker. I think he's 3rd favorite on Circa. So,
before you read that one, tickets, again, allchgo.com/events. And you scroll down, it's chronicalized by date, so you'll find it. Get there fast. I know there's a few people who've already bought their ticket.
And we will tell Braggs to be careful, Casey. Don't worry about that. Circa Sports, whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. It's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, exceptional customer service. And you can bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, in-game betting. Circa Sports has it all. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Again, we got the Bulls play-in tournament game tonight against the Heat. A lot of fun bets. Tight money line splits in that one. I like Tyler Hero's over. I like Kobe White's over. Sorry, Matt Peck. I like the Bulls to win this one. Download your new bookie today. Circasports.com. You must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So I parlayed the Dodgers and the Athletics today. The Dodgers are playing the Rockies. They're going for the sweep. And then the Athletics are facing the White Sox.
Okay.
Plus 110.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. Huge favorites. And I know baseball is baseball and it's wacky, but I feel like this is my new system. I'm just going to fade the White Sox and I'm going to bet the Dodgers a lot.
And this is not, shout out to Lawrence Holmes, the 670, the score. I follow his betting advice on the White Sox. He kept talking about this last year. White Sox go up a couple runs, immediately bet on the other team.
Yeah.
This year they're a little bit better.
Yeah.
The Sox are a little bit better, but still fading the Sox there.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's flip here. I'm looking at a lot of.
Can I give my 2 cents on PCA though?
Yeah.
PCA. This is a tweet from Michael Cerami. He tweeted this morning, so his numbers are different now. They're probably better because he hit the home run. In 79 plate appearances after the Tokyo series, PCA going into today was slashing 282, 380, or 338, 479. with a 132 WRC plus. He had 6 doubles, 1 triple, 2 homers, and 7 stolen bases.
That'll play, folks. That'll play.
Essentially, those numbers are different now with what happened today, but make that 3 homers. And, the slug, I think, is the thing that's surprising people the most. And for me, I've always hoped or dreamed of like the bare minimum, which was great defense, great base running, speed, all of that. And a guy who, if he's a 750 OPS, somewhere between 750 and 800 OPS, like I'd take that from him. But the way that he's slugging, he could be somewhere in the 800s. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see where he's at, but a 130 WRC or 132 WRC plus here in April, basically, if you don't count the Tokyo series. I'm just be honest with you, Kevin. I don't think that's sustainable for an entire season, but if he gives you a 120 WRC plus with that defense and speed and base running, like that's an all-star caliber player. Right?
Yeah,
like
I'm absolutely is.
I'm just like, and I think right now he's top 15 in Fangraphs WAR as well. So he's for a guy who got off like the first week and a half or 2 of the season, for a guy who got off to a little bit of a slow start offensively. I know that the Dodgers series really helped him increase some of these numbers, and that's what early season numbers do. That's why I try to tell a lot of people, like, hey, don't freak out if a guy's struggling, because those numbers could shift immediately after 1 or 2 days. But if we're getting into May and he's still doing like slugging like this, like that's something really, really impressive, and even for someone like me, is exceeding my expectations if he's going to have extra base hits like this. So
I'm looking at some of his projections on Fangraphs right now. So Steamer has PCA projected at a 95 WRC plus and a 1.9 WAR. Zips projections, these are the ones that I like to go off of because they're very accurate, has him at a 103 WRC plus with a 2.8 WAR this year. And I think that he gets, he plays, that's through 122 games, just below 30 steals, and about 14 home runs. I think if I were to guess where Pete Crow-Armstrong ends the year, it's going to be that 14 to 17 home run range. It'll be, I think he's going to get more than 30 stolen bases if he plays a full year, just with the way this lineup is humming right now and the amount of opportunities he's going to have with matchups and guys at the plate. The Cubs are going to push a lot of buttons. I think he'll get around 40 stolen bases. But yeah, I think he's going to be around the 90 to 100 WRC plus range. Again, I feel like we have to have this conversation all the time because the Cubs have kind of left us with no choice when they don't have stars in the lineup. We expect young, high-end prospects to come on and light the world on fire because we see some of the guys like Bobby Witt Jr.'s of the world and Ronald Acuna Jr.'s of the world a few years ago, and the really highly touted superstar level prospects. Pete Crow-Armstrong is not that guy. And I know that's hard for some fans you got to put him in different buckets. That's not to say Pete Crow-Armstrong isn't going to be a 5-WAR player consistently. I absolutely think that's his ceiling. I think consistently he can do that with the tools that he gives you. But the patience thing, and it's all Cubs fans have had to try to exercise over the last couple of years, right? Patience this. Be patient with the young guys. Do this because that's the position and the roster that they've put together. But I'm telling you guys, the eye test has it with Pete Crow-Armstrong, and the projections and the science are showing Pete's starting to come around and starting to get it offensively. Again, not sure where he ends up. Yeah. It's baseball. Anything can happen. The guy could he could have a bad year. That doesn't mean I'm out on him. I'm in the camp of pay Pete Crow-Armstrong still. I would give him a $100 million deal right now. I think he's done enough for that. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that. And the Cubs are also in no hurry to pay the guy. He's under club control for another 5-6 seasons. They don't have to pay him right now. You could get rid of those arbitration years if you wanted to.
Cassie in the chat says PCA is so exciting to watch. I'm really rooting for him.
Yeah. The exciting thing is there. The exciting factor is fun. He is a fun player to watch. He's also a really good player. He plays the game with his hair on fire, which has led to the Cubs scratching across a couple extra runs there. He's also gotten picked off a couple. He's not the perfect player. He's made some mistakes this year.
Yeah.
He's going to make more. He's going to strike out quite a bit. Young players strike out a lot. That's going to happen. But just look a little bit deeper than surface level with the guy. Mm-hmm. The hard contact, the extra base hits, the stolen bases, some of that means a little bit more than him striking out twice in a game. I can live with that if he's providing series like he did here on the West Coast.
Yeah. No, if I have any concerns about PCA's strikeouts, I mean, he can't lay off the high fastball, and that's something I think comes with experience. So we'll see how that changes as the season goes along, hopefully. But I think someone in chat earlier said that, PCA, he's earning reason to be higher in the lineup. And listen, just hear me out on this.
Yeah,
okay?
I'll hear you out.
I understand that it was just one road trip. It's 6 games. It's a small sample. But Dansby really struggled on this road trip. I know he hit the ball hard, and I think he still probably leads the team in hard hit rate and all that. But I've never thought that Dansby was a 5-hitter. I've never thought it. Like last year, any year, I've never thought he was a 5-hitter. He is a guy that I think really excels if he's in the 6-7 hole. If the lineup, if you were able to add another bat, like I think everyone in the chat thinks that this team needs another bat. If you're able to add another one, then you would just move him down. When the Braves won the World Series in 2021, he was like the 9-hitter for them, right? All I'm saying right now, I'm not saying that you sit Dansby. I'm saying that Dansby has not looked great the last couple of days, and he's in the 5-hole right now. Like they need to put him back where he was excelling last year when he did start playing better, which was in that 6-7 hole. And if you don't want to move PCA up, then put Nico in the 5-hole, or hell, Amaya or Kelly have actually been hitting well for you in April. Put one of them in that 5-hole, because at least they're giving you better at bats. If you are trying to protect PCA for whatever reason because you don't think he has shown enough of the offense to move him up into that big of a spot in the lineup, fine. I get it because he's young. But Dansby Swanson right now isn't exactly warranting being in the 5-hole. But at the same time, he's had some nice moments, and I do think he's healthy, and I do think that he will be better. But he is in a little bit of a funk. He was in a little bit of a funk this road trip. So I'm hoping that some home cooking starts up for him, because he was hitting the ball hard. He was looking healthy. He was making great defensive plays. This series against the Padres, man, he just looked lost. 4 Ks yesterday, struck out just a terrible at bat at the end of the game in that 7th or 8th inning, whatever. Maybe it was the 9th inning. I don't know. But it's just, this series in particular, they weren't fun to watch. And so I think you can make an argument that maybe it's a small sample. Maybe he deserves a few more chances, but I do think that other guys are hitting well enough to where it doesn't have to be this same exact lineup. It took forever for Craig to put Michael Busch in the 2-hole last year whenever he was hitting well. How much longer does PCA need to continue to hit well to earn himself up higher in the lineup? I don't know, but
I think I know the answer to that question.
If he keeps hitting like he did on this road trip, though, he is definitely going to be deserving of more at bats.
I don't disagree with you. The Cubs are winning games with the lineups that they have, and they're playing good teams. So I think that having Pete where he is fine. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason he's not going to get moved up anytime soon is because he's still not taking his walks. Mm-hmm. He's not seeing enough pitches. Craig Counsell, and this is the new way of managing games. This is why I really like Craig Counsell as a manager. It's why it's why I enjoy what Dave Roberts does with the Dodgers lineup. Granted, it's not hard to do things with that lineup because it's so great.
deep.
You put your best hitters who see the most pitches at the top of the lineup. Right now, Ian Happ, not exactly tearing the cover off the ball, but had a few hits today, takes his walks, takes a lot of pitches. Kyle Tucker is tearing the cover off the ball, giving you the basically what I'm trying to say is the Cubs 1 through 4 is set.
Mm-hmm.
Those, unless there's an injury, Ian Happ is your leadoff hitter all year. Kyle Tucker and Seiya are going to swap out of that 2-hole depending on the lefty-righty matchup all year. That's not going to change. Then the 3-hole is one of the other guys. That 4-hole, it's going to be Michael Busch, unless you make a trade or if he's out that day, because those are your 4 best hitters. Now, the one guy you make a case for if you want to move him up is Nico. I'd move Nico into the 5-hole if Dansby continues to struggle, because Nico is on base every game and he's batting well over 300. That's the guy, if I'm going to make a lineup recommendation, it would be that. But I don't have a problem right now with Dansby, and he had a rough series. He struck out 8 times. He went 1 for 13, I think, in this series. But he ran. They went up against some really good pitchers. So off day tomorrow, get right. We'll see how he does at home. He always hits a little bit better at home. It's going to be really warm on Friday. Maybe it's a get right game. Who knows?
Okay. I did not realize this, but we have 2 more ads, so we needed to take a break here in a second. While we bring those up, Kevin, how are you feeling going into this next series?
I feel pretty decent. I think the Cubs offense is giving me a lot of reason for optimism, because they have just been, it doesn't seem to matter. How do I put this? It doesn't seem to matter what position they've been in. They've always responded with runs and base runners, and it seems like they always have that second gear that they hit when a team scores a run. They kind of tend to force the issue, whether or not they're knocking those guys in. They've left a lot of guys on base. They left a ton of guys on base yesterday, and I think they lead the league in guys left on base, but they're still leading the league in scoring at the same time, or near the top still after this series. So I feel good about it. The Diamondbacks, obviously a very good team. You're going to see Corbin Burns on Friday. Yeah. So the first time you're seeing him, he's had your number the last couple of seasons in Milwaukee. But I think they're playing about as well as I can expect at this moment in time. I don't have a ton of complaints, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I will give you my 2 cents here in a second. With Empire today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire today is the best place to get new flooring. So of course they have copycats, but Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, speed. So competitors advertise low quality products that Empire simply won't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest prices, because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. Their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. What they leave out of their selection is as important as what they put in. Empire's product team exhaustively combs through thousands of products, samples each year to find the perfect styles. Their virtual floor designer is a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. Shopping for floors at a big box store can be frustrating. You might talk to someone today who was working in plumbing yesterday. Flooring is all Empire today does. They live and breathe flooring, so you can be confident you'll be getting honest, upfront advice. They pride themselves on their convenient shop-at-home service. They help customers shop for floors where they use their floors so they can see exactly what their new floors will look like in their homes, lighting, and decor, so they can make an informed decision. Service their own warranties. If an issue does arise, just call Empire. They service all warranties themselves. You don't have to track down a manufacturer's phone number. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. Kevin, you know what I do whenever I get off the red line at Addison?
I know exactly where you're going with this. You pull up that Game Time app.
Absolutely. Exactly.
The best app on my phone.
It's one of my favorite ones when it comes to tickets. You know what I mean? And Game Time is something that for most of my time when it comes to tickets, they give you the best value, Kevin. the best value, right? It has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Let's try this again. Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Wow. Let's try it. That was a tongue twister, right?
You nailed it.
Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. Like I always say, get off the red line at Addison. I pull up Game Time. I look at the price of the tickets. Then I go to Murphy's, and I just kind of follow it along. And, as first pitch arrives, the value of the ticket will be lower. And you get the best ticket the closer you wait until you get to first pitch, all right? Some of the features that they have that I really like is the all-in pricing. When you toggle that feature, the total is shown up front with no surprise fees at checkout. They have seat views, so you get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. They have Game Time ticket coverage where your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
My Game Time tickets right there. For Friday 120 Club.
Let's go.
See them. Just take a look right there.
Let's go.
$50 a ticket for bleachers on a Friday. Are you kidding me?
That's good.
On every other site, they're like 75 plus fees. Love Game Time. Yeah, Cody, I'm feeling good about the Cubs in this upcoming series, coming home, mainly because they have an off day tomorrow. It felt, I said it in the open, I said it in the A block of this show. It just, when you play teams like the Dodgers and the Padres, those are mentally taxing games. You're going up against A-plus caliber talent every single night. You're grinding at bats. Everything just means a little bit more because those are contending teams and because the littlest of mistakes, as we see when you drop a ball, the next pitch can end up in the left field seats with Manny Machado. That those games, it wears on you. It wears on pitchers. It wears on hitters. Guys like Dansby had rough series. They can take this plane ride home. They can have a day off tomorrow just to kind of get right and get ready to face a Cy Young winner on Friday. I mean, it's not getting any easier. We knew the month of April was going to be tough, and they're managing it well. I'm impressed with the start, and I think that they will win this series. I think they're a better team than the Diamondbacks. I don't think it's by much. But the Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll is starting to turn it around, man. He had a rough series against the Cubs, but he's starting to show more pop. Hit a long home run yesterday. He's hit a couple in the series. I can't remember where they're coming from, but I know I've been following him on fantasy baseball. So he's starting to get it together. And like I said, Burns is just always tough. He gets up for these games. He's going to get up to try and beat his old buddy Craig Counsell.
Right.
Hit him where it hurts.
Right. Barb in the chat is asking when Corey and Brennan are on tomorrow. They're on, I believe, or I guess Corey and Kevin.
Yeah, it'll be Corey and me tomorrow.
I think they're on at 7. Yeah, I was gonna say 7 or 8 o'clock. So 7, they're on at 7 or 8 o'clock, or at 7. God, I am. This game took a lot out of me. Okay, 7 p.m. tomorrow, Corey and Brennan. My take going into this Diamondback series. It always sucks going into an off day off a loss because then it feels like that lingering pain just goes into the next day. So you're coming off a series loss, but you're going back to beautiful, historic Wrigley Field where you have played well to start the year. You've won your first 2 series at home, and I know it's supposed to be warm or nice, whatever you want to call it.
It's supposed to be pushing 80 degrees on Friday. Right? Yeah.
I don't know what it is for the rest of the weekend, but
crappy.
Yeah. A
little bit of rain on Saturday.
I think one of the pro things about the April weather and a lot of these West Coast teams that come out here is like you have the advantage when it comes to the weather conditions. So maybe Friday won't matter so much, but if the wind's blowing in, that could matter, right? But I think if you go back to the first series in Arizona, I thought they pitched well. They should have won 3 out of 4, like we all said. The Sunday game was brutal. The bullpen just blew up in that 8th inning, right, of that Sunday game. But they played well enough to win that series. And I actually am looking forward to facing Corbin Burnes, because his last few games against the Cubs when he was with Baltimore, and I think even one of his last 1 or 2 appearances against the Cubs with Milwaukee, he wasn't very good. So I'm actually looking forward to that, because I want to see if that's going to continue or not.
I am not, so I'm.
But like even still though, they hit well off Zach Gallen at the beginning in the first domestic game of the year. He's actually off to a terrible start.
Yeah, scuffling.
The thing about the Diamondbacks that scares me is that they just have a really good offense. They had they're the best offense in baseball last year by like statistically, and so can you limit the walks? But I think we've kind of talked about the walks in this show, but like
it's a problem.
But they had 18 walks. I think they showed it on Marquee. 18 walks. They allowed 18 walks this series against the Padres. And the Cubs only got 7. So one of the things the Cubs have been doing this season has been walking, right? Going into that Padres series, they were walking a lot. So what I'm wanting to feel or see with the Diamondbacks coming to town, whether they win the series or not, and if they win the series, they probably do a lot of things I'm talking about, which is hit with runners in scoring position, work your walks, and pitch well. And stop walking the 8 and 9 hitters.
Yeah, to me, it comes down to the free passes, right? I mean, the offense. I mean, you're gonna, like I said, they scored 1 run last night, 2 runs tonight. I'm still not concerned about the offense. It's humming along. They're leaving some guys on base. It happens to every team. It is the walks. We didn't talk a lot about the bullpen because it was really good last night, and today kind of scuffled along. It wasn't horrible today, but yeah. You cannot walk 18 batters in a series. Newsflash, baseball flash. You can't do that, and you want to win games. And you can't walk. The Cubs walked. I saw this on Council's postgame. We walked too many guys, and we walked the wrong guys. Yeah, you did. You walked the 9-hitter one too many times. And guess what? With another formidable lineup coming up and guys at the top of an order of a Diamondbacks lineup who can really tear the cover off the ball, you can't walk guys in late inning situations, and the Cubs, unfortunately, near the top of the league in walks surrendered this year. Shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone if you've watched most of the games. Limit the walks. I'm not worried about the offense. Corbin Burnes is really good. I'm worried about Friday's game. I think, obviously it's baseball. You got a shot. But the Cubs will not win this series if they replicate what they did in San Diego. They were competitive in San Diego, but competitive doesn't always win against the best teams in the league. You need to be more than competitive. You need to give yourself a chance. Starting pitching has given them a chance. The offense has given them a chance. And please do not blow a game like you did in that Sunday series against Arizona. That was the worst loss of the year. Mm-hmm. And you see how quickly this Diamondbacks offense can get on you. It happens really quick. Yep. So take advantage of your opportunities, obviously, but it's the walks, man. Yeah. Walks. Stop it.
So the Diamondbacks for sure are going to throw Burnes on Friday, but they haven't announced the other 2.
I was looking to see. It'll probably be Colin Ray or Ben Brown on Friday, I would assume.
I would guess it's going to be Ben Brown since he hasn't pitched since last Saturday, and he was awesome against the Dodgers. And so, people who are worried about this pitching staff with Justin Steele out for the year, like Ben Brown can be the difference maker. He can be the guy that, gets the ship rolling the right direction, because he is a guy who's shown that can pitch you deep into a game. He's shown to be absolutely elite with the 7 no-hit innings in Milwaukee last year, and then 6 strong innings against that Dodgers lineup last Saturday. I'm feeling good about Ben Brown, but we need to see more. We need to see some consistency. How does he respond after that start, right? So, I would expect Ben Brown on Friday, Colin Ray on Sunday, and then maybe Tyone on Sunday, Ray on Saturday. So it's not announced, but that's what I'm expecting. So.
Well, I can't wait to sit in the bleachers with you and Braggs and all of our diehards on Friday. It's going to be a beautiful day. Really hope that you guys will come out and join us for that. It's just always fun to get. It's my first game of the year. This year feels a little different for me, just because this Cubs team feels pretty good. I don't like to take seasons for granted, and we are I just cannot wait to get back in the ballpark, man. Yeah. I'm really excited just to be back with the fans and to watch baseball again and watch Kyle Tucker play. That's going to be great. So hopefully you guys can join us out there. That'll be really great.
Yeah.
Make sure you become, a diehard.
Yeah.
We get to go to look at this event. I mean,
we have a sale going on right now, $36. Before we get out of here, let y'all know, $36 on the diehard deal right now. Plus, it's because the NFL draft's coming up. We have a great event with the CHGO Bears for the draft out.
It's going to be at Bourbon Street, right?
On Bourbon Street, yeah. So
yeah.
We have that event coming up. We have the Milwaukee trip for us on May 3rd. There's a lot of things, and if you become a diehard, you get a discount on those trips. So, or those events, I should say. So, it's a exciting time to become a diehard, and it's a great price. So,
I'm sure we'll have some 120 shirts too to be able to purchase too.
Sarah, are we going to be able to bring some of those out there?
I am not going to be there this Friday. I have to be here, but we will be doing that this year.
I know we did it last year. That's the only reason, and you always had them. So that's why I'm asking.
This year, all right. This year we will. This Friday, I'm not going to be there, so we most likely won't.
And if you're a diehard, you get a discount.
But you can still go to the store. AllCity store.
AllCityStore.com. Okay.
I can't wait, man. I'm excited to get back in the bleachers. I'm excited to sit with you guys and enjoy Cubs baseball. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the new Cubs YouTube channel.
Please.
Let's get up to 3,000. We're getting pretty close. I believe we're close to 2,500. So, yeah, where are we at, Sarah? We're getting close.
Our live count is 2,228.
Let's get us up to 8,000.
To 8,000?
800, get us up to 3,000. Now
800 more.
That's when it's time to land the ship. That's going to do it.
Me and
on
you
the
just
CHGO Cubs podcast today. Yeah,
we couldn't talk on this one, man.
It's time to end it. Luke will be back on Monday. I will be in with Corey tomorrow night for the show, in for Brendan. We will recap this series once again and get you prepared for Cubs Diamondbacks Friday at Wrigley Field, start of a weekend home set at Clark and Addison. That's the CHGO Cubs podcast. I'm Kevin Wells. That's Cody Del Mendo. Remember, become a diehard, and also remember to fly the W.